some of the biggest films of the past 20 years, and here he is stealing the limelight in Ricky Gervais's Extras.
Oi, Radcliffe.
What?
What have you been up to?
Nothing.
Don't lie. You've been chatting at my fiancée. She's just told me.
Mum?
Don't call for your mum. You were chatting up my bird, so act like a man and deal with the consequences.
It was just...
I was just nee. You specky little git.
These aren't real glasses.
You're a specky git.
You leave him alone, he's just a boy.
I'm 17.
Well, what's this got to do with you?
Well, what is he? He's doing nothing, is he?
Don't stick your big nose in, love.
All right. Calm down.
Oh, you. I'm glad you're here, because you had the same idea.
What?
Well, I know you sent your little mate in here to do your dirty work for you, trying to undermine me.
What have you done? What have you done?
You think it's okay, do you? Trying to steal my fiancée?
Right, OK, I don't know what you've...
You shit!
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What do you think I've got this ring for?
I don't know, you're a hobbit?
You fat shit!
I don't know what the rules are for fighting them. Let me try that. That usually works in cartoons. What's he doing, mate? No. Accidental... Me.
That's a great clip, and will you please welcome Mr. Warwick Davis.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Grab a seat, Warwick. Great to have you on. Thank you for joining us. That's a fun... I love that clip. I love that episode of Extras. That's very good.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, you know, I'm thrilled your book's come out because I've seen you in so many films over the years, and, you know, I'm genuinely a fan of the Leprechaun series, and we will talk about that later on. But,
yes.
You've got your autobiography out.
I have, yes.
Called Size Matters Not, which is a kind of a Yoda
Size
phrase.
matters not.
Yeah, you do a much better one than me. Why write it now? What prompted you to write it, and did you enjoy the process of writing it?
Yeah, I was approached by a publisher, and at first I said, no, I really haven't got anything to say. You know, I felt you had to be kind of a retiring actor to write a memoir. But then when I sat down and started to think about it, I thought, well, I have done some quite amazing things, you know, with Star Wars and Willow and Harry Potter. And so there was a great sort of film story to tell, you know, lots of famous people, lots of adventures on set. But also there was a really interesting life story as well, you know, being 3'6" in a big world and growing up, you know,
Well, that's what's fascinating about it, is because I guess it's something that people are a little reluctant to talk to you about, are they? They're not embarrassed about it, but they feel, can I talk to you about this? Is it, you know, do you encounter that?
Yeah, all the time. And people will avoid saying the word short. A little in the conversation, but then say it more.
Yeah, but I was going to say he's one of our biggest stars. I thought, no. He's been in some huge movies. I thought, no. So I'm sitting there worrying about what to say, and you're right. But you presumably you're relaxed and pretty cool about it.
I'm fine with it. I'm slightly disappointed that the guys didn't sing a sort of short song. Or
They were going to sing Tiny Dancer, and we said, I thought no, because I didn't want to get off to the wrong foot.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so but then presumably when you're out and about, how are people? How are kids with you? How are adults? How are the parents?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. The world is full of people with interesting reactions. I mean, you know, if I bump into a kid, for example, the most embarrassing occasion was I went to open like a Fate, and there was a little 6-year-old lad there. He was wearing exactly the same shirt that I was. You know, so that was pretty embarrassing. But I mean, people, particularly Irish people and Japanese people, they want to touch me for luck.
Really?
Yeah.
For real?
They do. They want. I don't know. I guess they think maybe I'm a real life leprechaun. I'm not sure. But the Japanese people, they have to come and touch me.
Do they say something when they're doing it, or they just do it?
No, they just have a touch, and he's very subtle sometimes. But I'm like, I know what you're up to. And I just.
But as far as you know, though, you don't have any luck-giving properties.
Well, no, I've been very lucky in my career and life, but I don't know whether I passed that on or not. You know.
Now, it was kind of accidental you broke into movies at a very young age. How did that happen? How did you first get into films?
Well, I was 11 years old. I was at school like anyone else, and my grandmother, she heard a radio announcement put out by the Star Wars people, and they said, we're looking for short people to be in the next Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi. So she told my mum about this, who was mopping the floor at home at the time, and Mum phoned the studios. They said, we've got everyone. We were inundated with calls. And I don't know what she did. She may have offered them cash, I'm not sure. But they said, all right, bring him in. We'd love to meet him. And bear in mind, I was 2'11", a lot shorter than I am now.
2'11".
So I walked in, and I met with a production assistant who didn't audition me. She just took one look at me and said, do you like Star Wars? I said, yeah. I was so excited.
Yeah. But 11, you would have been over the moon just to be there, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I lined up when I was 7 years old to go and see Star Wars. I mean, it had an immediate effect on me. And, yeah, to be part of that then was just astonishing.
And so they cast you pretty immediately, I guess. They
Just based on my height. They
but
said,
didn't you
"Go
get a bigger
measured up."
role because someone fell out? Is that
Well, yeah, and full of lucky breaks. Nan was the first one. The second one was due to Kenny Baker. Now, Kenny is normally the poor chap stuffed in R2-D2.
He was R2-D2, yeah.
He's the soft bit in R2-D2. And Kenny was also an Ewok, right? And so the day they were going to shoot the famous scene where Princess Leia has crashed her speeder bike and she's discovered by an Ewok, the day they were going to shoot that with Kenny, he was taken ill with food poisoning.
Well, you say that, but you...
How it happened.
Yeah. What did you give him?
Money well spent on that hamburger. But no, poor old Kenny was taken ill, and
so he couldn't do it.
And they called me in.
Wow.
And then I became Wicket. Then from then on, I was otherwise just another Ewok.
And this is a great scene. We're going to show you this clip. This is a great scene in kind of fantasy cinema and sci-fi cinema. And this is you just 11 inside this.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is Warwick when he was 11 with Carrie Fisher in Return of the Jedi.
I'm not gonna hurt you. Oh.
Chucha.
Well, looks like I'm stuck here. Trouble is, I don't know where here is. Maybe you can help me. Come on, sit down. I promise I won't hurt you. Now come here.
No.
All right. You want something to eat?
Chucha. Ooh, ain't true.
That's right. Come on.
Uta.
Hmm?
Oh, my feet.
You've got to love the Ewoks, haven't you?
Thank you.
I want to see more Ewoks.
Well, if you look in that clip there,
Yeah.
the tongue that you see is my real tongue. Because the faces were totally inanimate.
What were
so
you
it
eating
added
there?
a
What
bit
did she
of-
give you to eat?
It was a bit of that rice cake
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It tasted like
Yeah.
polystyrene.
Yeah, not so good. And then there were a couple of Ewok movies, weren't there? Were you in both of those?
Yes, I was. And that was probably thanks to George Lucas's daughter, who fell in love with Wicket and the Ewoks.
Well,
and
kids loved the Ewoks, didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah, absolutely,
And so,
yeah.
and Lucas, he kind of became quite a friend of yours, didn't he?
Oh, he did indeed, absolutely. I mean, he's been an integral part of my career, you know, for since then, basically, till now, and we do still keep in touch.
Is that how Willow came about? Was that via Lucas that you got the lead in Willow?
Well, he actually said to my mum in 1983, he said, I've got a little idea for Warwick, you know, a film idea, but he's not quite old enough yet, but we'll get to it, you know, when he's older. And, yeah, in 1987, I got the call from George Lucas's office saying, come up to Elstree Studios,
Yeah.
meet with George Lucas and Ron Howard for a film called Willow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that had a lot of other little people in it as well, didn't it? It was a lot of other guys about the same height as you. I mean, how did they find so many people that size? Because previously back then they had to put an advert out.
Yeah,
But
I don't
were
know.
there
I mean,
more in the
they
business, or-
scoured the world, so I think they brought in about 260 little people
Wow.
to play Nelwyn villagers in,
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
village scene there, yes.
And when you get that many, I mean, regardless of height, when you get that many actors cohabitating together, you know, the parties occur.
Well, I think, the parties mainly occurred on the set in the little village huts, I believe. All sorts went on.
You believe or you were...
Well, I know I wasn't involved with that. I was in my trailer somewhere, probably.
Yeah, of course you were.
I know I was. I know you start probing.
Yeah, well, that's what you're here for. So how old were you then? I forgot. Are you about...
I was 17 then.
So what great to be in a lead role when you're 17, a lead role in a movie and all that sex. What an incredible experience for you.
It was around me, I hear.
OK, let's talk about Harry Potter. Because here's another tremendous success story, and that would have been, you know, after the event, everyone said, of course they're hits, but they needn't have been. And you were in the first one, weren't you, when they were just
Absolutely,
really
yes.
little
Playing
kids?
Professor Flitwick. I was almost as tall as Daniel,
Yeah,
Rupert and Emma
yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we didn't know going into making the first movie, of course, that we were going to make any more. You know, we took it one movie at a time, and little did we know they would become, you know, the most successful film franchise ever.
It's going to be a sad day, I guess, when that comes to an end, because that's been a huge chunk of your life, hasn't it?
It'll be very sad. I mean, we've all been working on those films for 10 years now, and I liken it actually to going to school. You know, each film we go back for a new term, as it were, and you know, we're all about to graduate and go our separate ways, and it's going to be sad, yeah.
OK, let's talk about the moment we went for, Leprechaun.
Oh.
OK, so how does that happen? They phone you and they say, we're making a film called Leprechaun, about a leprechaun. I imagine your first question was, what part am I going to play?
Well, the script came in, Jonathan, and it was actually appealed to me straight away because I'd done Willow and I'd done Ewoks and all these nice things,
Yeah.
and I thought, I need to show that I can diversify, otherwise I'm going to be typecast forever. And so this was a horror movie. Of course, I jumped at it immediately. And he was such a fun character to play, so crazy. And there was really no limits to what I was doing.
There's more to it, just because it's kind of horror comedy, really, isn't it? I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's all tongue-in-cheek stuff. We don't take it seriously.
So when was the first one? Can you remember what year the first one was?
91, I think.
91.
We did the first one.
And this is what's so weird about it, and this is really why I started watching it in the first place, because someone told me it was the first movie, someone who became very famous, of course, it was...
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston's in this. It's like her first big movie.
Absolutely.
But then I thought, this is a great case. And when I found out they made 6, I just set myself the challenge of watching them all. So the first one, presumably, it was a reasonable-sized hit for them to want to go back. Or was it low budget enough for them to say, OK, we'll take a chance on them?
I think, I mean, that one came out theatrically, so I think it made enough money and it continues to do so now with the fact that Jennifer's in it. She totally denies any connection with the films whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe we've done 6, It's amazing, and people still want a 7th.
Well, absolutely. I demand a 7th. I want to see where they're going with it next.
How about this? How about you combine Leprechaun with pirates? They like gold, they like drinking, same as Leprechauns.
Yeah.
Get Johnny Depp on it. We could shoot it at the same time as Pirates 4.
Leprechauns of the Caribbean.
It would be great.
It's got a ring to it. You're a genius. Let's have a look. This is now. I'm going to show you several Leprechaun clips. I'm warning you now. Look at this. They made 1, they come back with 2, and so you're right. The first one was had a theatrical, was a proper cinema release.
It was.
And then after that, they've more or less been DVD movies.
Yeah,
haven't
straight to
they?
DVD.
And 4 was a weird one. When they came back with the Space Odyssey, did you think, maybe we're pushing our luck here?
I don't think I did. I enjoyed working with the director, Brian Trenchard Smith, on number 3, and when he came up with this, I thought, oh, what the hell, let's have a look.
So 4 is in space.
Yes.
Now, and then after space, you think where they're going to go next? And where did they go next?
To the hood.
They went into Hood. OK. It's kind of a... Is it set in New York?
No, it's set in LA.
It's
the
LA.
South Central. We actually shot in South Central LA. And the gangs were coming by. And I was worried. I'm in green. I'm thinking, what is this colour?
Yeah,
But
is it
neutral.
grapes? Is it bloods?
It's neutral,
I don't know what it
apparently.
is.
I was OK. They would come and check me out.
Warwick, I'll be honest, if you look like that, I don't think you're just walking through trying to join a gang. OK?
I come from the land of the Irish Spring. Dublin's the place where I learned my thing. From the Emerald Isle to your place in the hood. I'm the man of green, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good. Lep in the hood, come to do no good. Blunt is dope, this place is hype. There's a lassie, she's just my type. I hate to resort so soon to marry. Haven't been late in so long, it's tragedy.
And the makeup is quite, obviously,
Oh, yeah, it
deliberately
takes 3 hours to apply every
That must
day.
be horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty much a nightmare.
But you must have, there's a lot of fans of Leprechaun films. There's a lot of people who like, like me, like B movies. They like that kind of thing.
There are a lot of fans, and I always see them coming from about 500 yards.
Why? What do they do?
And they always look like there's a certain type, and
Did you know I was a fan? because when I bumped into you a while ago, before I bumped into Warwick, and immediately I wanted to go, Leprechaun!
Did you?
But once again, it's something you don't want to shout out when you see a little person, in case other people don't know I'm talking about the movie, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And people get me to do the voice all the time. Create their voicemails.
Would you do it? Well, after the... Would you do it?
Okay. What do you want me to say? I'm going to say the classic thing.
Okay.
I want me gold. If you don't give me shilling, there'll be a killing.
They should do that. You could do that. Yes. You know these new adverts where people say, have you got a gold ring? Send it in for cash. You could do the voiceover for that. We should have the Leprechaun on those adverts. Let's talk about extras because I knew you were doing these movies and I thought I assumed you lived in LA because all your film work is over there, over in America. But you're still over here. You're still based in the UK.
I still live here. I love England,
okay.
and so yeah.
And so I guess who contacted you about extras? Was it Ricky called you, or you just got a call from the agent?
No, Ricky did. I mean, this was the time that the office was massive everywhere, and I hadn't done any extras at this point. And I had a phone call at home in my kitchen, and the voice said, "Hi, this is Ricky Gervais," and I went, "Oh yeah." Because I have a lot of mates who do impressions. But no, then when I said, oh, yeah, he started laughing, and, you know how Ricky Gervais laughs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, oh, it is you, isn't it? He said, yeah. He said, we're creating this new series, and we're going to get some sort of celebrities in it, and we wonder whether you would do an episode. But he said, I want to check before we write it. Would it be okay if I sort of accidentally kick you in the face? I said, well, seeing as it's you, it'd be an honour. So let's do it. And in the second series, indeed, we did do that.
It's a very funny sequence. And now, this is the exciting news, and some of you might know this already, is that Ricky and Stephen, they're writing a sitcom for you, about you. What's the actual details?
Indeed, they are. Yeah, they're to write and direct Life's Too Short, which it's really about me. I play Warwick Davis in it, and I have some of the film background, you know, the Leprechaun and the Star Wars background. But the kind of personal reality in the series is going to be quite different.
Yeah.
And it really, as they've done in their past things, it looks at other people and makes them look stupid in the way they react towards me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also have fun playing this very egotistical, a kind of an actor who craves the fame and the recognition, which is not me.
So they're basically giving you what they call little man syndrome. You know, when you got
exactly, I do have
small
that.
man syndrome.
I do have small man syndrome.
Yeah. So you're kind of you want to be a big force, and at the same time people are treating you badly.
Exactly. No, that's right. And it's kind of like Larry David did with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing himself.
An exaggerated version of yourself, or just aspects of it.
And it's so much fun working with those guys.
Well, it must be weird as well, because Ricky is kind of like mid-height, but Stephen Merchant is one of the tallest men I've ever met.
Jonathan, we look ridiculous walking down the street together. The three of us, it's the weirdest thing. People are like, go, whoa, like that as we go by. It's so odd. It's so odd.
It must look like, so, you know, someone's fiddled with the ratio on the TV, and you've got the three different options right there.
It's kind of like the evolution of man, really.
Yeah, with you at the top and Ricky at the bottom.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, okay.
When are you going to do this? You're going to do a pilot or a whole series? What are you going to do first?
We are shooting a pilot at the end of June with a view to go to series.
I think I get the feeling it's going to be a hit. You can't, I mean, it's because I know you've got so many stories, so much material. They're brilliant at doing that kind of thing. I can't help but think. And are they going to be in it as well?
They are. They're going to play themselves as well. So that's going to be very
If there's a role in it for someone who's a big Leprechaun fan who follows you around, please
You
do
did
not-
get mentioned a while ago, actually. Scrapped immediately, but you did get mentioned. Have a word with Ricky. You know him, don't you? Oh, you're not going to talk now? I want to try your seat. Can I try your seat?
How dare you, sir?
Oh, please.
You want to have a sit here?
Yeah, because I've always fancied myself as a chat show host. I've got the name of the chat show. Small Talk. Hey, come on.
I like the way this feels. I think this is good.
Let me tell you a funny story, right, that happened to me. I went to see a concert, actually, at in Manchester. And I'd had seats, and, of course, everyone's in the middle of the arena who wanted to stand up. The concert started. Straight away, the guy in front stood up and started dancing. I'm like, oh, great, now, you know, we're all trying to see. And everyone else then, in turn, had to stand up because they couldn't see. And I thought, it's ridiculous, right? So I'd spend most of the concert ducking and diving here. And at the end, you know, we didn't wait for the encore. We just, let's go. So the family and I lagged a bit behind, made sure my wife wasn't looking, and I went up and tapped him on the shoulder. So you just ruined this for us. Next time, buy a ticket down there if you want to dance, all right? And he was so taken aback. And I said, I might as well have sat at home and looked at a picture of your ass and listened to that album. Left, went up into, and then he followed me, right? But this is how he took me on. Would you mind just getting on your knees for a minute so we can recreate this? Where do you want to do that? Out here. Well, just get. He actually came up to me.
So I'm here. He got down his knees.
He came up and he started jabbing me like this. He said, "You people, you shouldn't come to concerts, right, like this." And then a security guard came up and he said, "He's just assaulted me." I'm like, "What do you really think's happening? What do you think's happening?" Unbelievable.
Well, that's a great story. You know what I like about it as well?
you.
You're a very similar host to me because you sit in the chair and you're meant to be asking questions, but you tell stories about yourself. So I think we're about to say okay, before we're going to have some music in a minute. Are you going to stick around for the music?
I'd love to.
Okay, I'm going to stand in front of you, though. You know that, don't you? Before we do that, you're how many kids have you got, Warwick?
I've got 2 children.
2 children. How old are they?
Annabelle is 13, Harrison's 7.
Wow, well, they must be so excited seeing you in Harry Potter and seeing you in...
They are excited, but...
They are. That's a lovely picture. The little fellow, so that's your son on the left there, in the picture there.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm loving his hair. It's
great. I mean, it's crazy. It's like flames.
Yeah.
But he does that all himself.
So they must be just so proud of you seeing you.
Well, I mean, they come and visit Harry Potter and... Harrison's been born since I've been doing it.
Yeah.
And the Great Hall there is a bit like Dad's office. It doesn't get him excited anymore, really.
Yeah, because they've seen it all, yeah.
Yeah, but Annabelle, she's 13, and unfortunately, I never worked on a Sunday on a Potter movie. On her last birthday in March, I had to work on a Sunday. But what was wonderful about it, the whole Great Hall, including Alan Rickman and Maggie Smith, sang happy birthday to her.
Wow, how lovely.
But instead of relishing it, of course, being 13, totally embarrassed, couldn't deal with it. Oh, my God.
That is
She
a
couldn't
minute.
cope. She couldn't
Wow,
cope.
you wait till she's 16, she'll say, I want that, plus I want a pony.
Yeah.
How great to have you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll agree, what a fabulous guest. How nice to spend some time and actually hear you talk about yourself for once, as opposed to just see you in character.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Warwick Davis,
Thank you
ladies and
very
gentlemen.
much.
It's great. It's great.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you to all of my guests tonight. Warwick Davis, of course, Alexander Burke and the fabulous Nick Frost. Next week on the show, we've got the brilliant comedian Ross Noble. Gary Lineker will be here as well, and we'll have music from Gorillaz. But now, performing Guns N' Horses, here she's really welcome. I think she's just a tremendous new talent. It's